Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. My name is Kyung-nan Park, and I'm the Deputy Regional Director for Latin America and the Caribbean at the United Nations World Food Program. As a South Korean, working at the World Food Program has special meaning for me, as my country was one of the countries to have received humanitarian assistance many years ago. And after having spent my career over the decades in nations in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, I have never seen what we are experiencing now, a global food crisis of unprecedented proportions. In a world of plenty, where enough food is produced to feed everyone, hunger should be a thing of the past. Today, there are as many as 828 million people that go to bed hungry every night, of which 345 million people suffer from hunger at a crisis level, almost triple the number in 2019. And a total of 50 million people in 45 countries are teetering on the edge of famine. The global hunger crisis has not yet reached its peak. In 2023, will be worse unless we get ahead of the situation. This crisis is about affordability, not availability. What does that mean? There is enough of everything, but at the wrong price and in the wrong place. Rising food and fuel prices and falling living standards have created a wave of collateral hunger, with millions unable to afford a basic meal. How does this affect the Americas? The food, fuel, and economic crises precipitated by the Ukraine conflict, on top of the impact of crisis extremes and the COVID-19 pandemic, have deeply affected the region and have left more than 10 million people facing hunger in countries where WFP operates in the region, up from 3.5 million in 2019. In the region, there are three main drivers. First, climate change. Every region of the world is affected by climate change. Climate shocks kill crops and livestock, degrade soils, deplete fisheries, damage infrastructure and agricultural assets, let alone the impact on human lives. This reduces food supplies, causing prices to rise. The effects of climate shocks are particularly evident in the Caribbean and in Central America, where people are severely affected by intermittent droughts, hurricanes, and La Niña. This year alone, the region has already been hit by hurricanes Fiona, Ian, and Julia. Second, migration. We have the second largest migration crisis in the world. Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru combined host approximately 4.5 million out of nearly 6 million Venezuelan refugees and migrants in the region, with half of them not being able to afford 3 meals a day or safe and dignified housing. The migration crisis is hemispheric, as new migration routes have opened linking South and Central America through the Darien Gap in Panama, now the most perilous migration journey worldwide, and onwards to North America. Third, conflict. As the biggest driver of hunger, currently 60% of the world's hungry live in areas afflicted by violence. WFP provides relief to exhausted populations and uses food assistance to build pathways to peace and stability, work for which WFP was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020. Haiti is an example of WFP's work in one country in the region that is affected by these three drivers. Haiti plunged into an acute crisis over the past 3 months, where 1 in 2 people are facing hunger. Insecurity in the country and increased gang violence is impacting road access, preventing fuel and critical supplies, and currently hampers humanitarian and development activities. Vulnerable residents have lost access to drinking water, food, education, and health services, and a rise in cholera is worsening an already complex situation. Amidst multiple security challenges, WFP is committed to stay and deliver with our partners, especially NGOs on the ground, with the aim to assist up to 1.7 million people by the end of this year, with food assistance, as well as providing the humanitarian community with safe and reliable means of transport to reach the vulnerable populations through our United Nations Humanitarian Air Service. Now, what can we all do together? Regional stability in Latin America and the Caribbean, part of our shared region of the Americas, is critical. A coordinated effort, together with governments, private sector, and civil society actors, is the only way to mitigate an even more severe crisis in 2023. Together, we need to invest in people, communities, and countries to help them better withstand future shocks so they are able to prosper. I would like to mention one key ingredient. We cannot talk about global food crisis without an understanding that zero hunger cannot be achieved without gender equality. In nearly 2/3 of the world, women are more likely than men to go hungry, despite producing 60 to 80% of food in most developing countries. Furthermore, the child of a pregnant woman who self-identifies as indigenous or Afro-descended is 62% more likely to suffer from chronic malnutrition in this region. WFP contributes to the enrollment and retention of girls in schools, recognizing them as powerful agents of change for the future, and the transformative opportunity of girls' education, and also supports economic empowerment of women by helping to increase their decision-making power and financial access. Canada is a very close ally of WFP, including long-withstanding support and commitment to operations in its neighbors in Latin America and the Caribbean. In Haiti alone, funding from Canada has ensured 180,000 children receive nutritious meals daily across 950 schools, as well as the United Nations Humanitarian Air Service operations. As we are continuing to witness the Americas, and in fact the globe, are intrinsically linked, inaction in this global hunger crisis is not an option. We need to act now in the face of this unprecedented level of need to save lives, while continuing to invest in sustainable solutions for stability and peace. With all the crises in the world, the issues in this region remain hidden and invisible. We need to work together to raise our voices of concern, as every investment made in the root causes of hunger will give the option for people to stay in their communities and not worry about where their next meal is coming from. Keep giving generously so we can keep saving lives together. My hope is that one day we achieve zero hunger and that everybody has enough to eat. Merci de votre intérêt et votre attention.